with Nicki Conway. She is a realtor with RE/MAX Alliance Group, and she's also a sponsor of the Nylon Report this week, and I wanted to say thank you and welcome to our show.
Well, thank you, Susan. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's always good, and you know, we often talk about real estate on this show because so many of us have a tie into how well the real estate market is doing, whether it's through investment or through our own homes.
Everybody does.
It definitely, and it's also, to me, a really good barometer of how the economy is doing, because people who are more confident in the economy will also then turn around and start looking at real estate as well.
Exactly.
So one of the things I wanted to just kind of get an update on how the real estate market is doing in Sarasota.
Well, overall in the Sarasota market, last month, in the month of January, there were 506 properties that sold, and that's in comparison to 537 in January of 2011. So it's about the same. You know, it's kind of, the market is kind of stabilizing. However, one interesting thing is that properties that went under contract last month were 2,124. In January of 2011, it was half of that. It was 1,013. And yeah, they didn't go pending last month. I shouldn't have said it that way. But they were still pending last month. And I think a large part of that was because of the short sales that are lingering in the pending status. And then there were active listings. There were 3,574 active listings last month, and in January of 2011 it was just about double that. It was 6,072.
And these are, I mean, this is a good sign, correct?
It's an absolutely good sign. It's you know, our days on the market are 106 now as opposed to 179, and we now have a 7-month supply, and that was at the end of January. We had a 7-month supply. At the end of December we had a 6.3 month supply, but that's kind of expected in the high season for our inventory to go up a little bit. A 6-month supply, as you know, is a normal market. So we're very close to a normal market here in Sarasota, and our prices are stabilized, our prices are good, our prices are down to 2002 levels right now.
So for the buyer, that's really good.
It's an excellent thing for the buyer.
Which is probably why the houses are moving at a faster pace than they were a year or 2 years ago, because people who are looking for an investment have a really good opportunity to invest.
People, it's a good time to invest right now.
So talk to me about what price range is selling the most right now.
The 200,000 and under price range is selling the most. Out of the 506 homes sold and condos sold in January, 349 or 69% of them were in this price category. Most of them are smart investors who are taking advantage of the great prices, leveraging their money with a real estate purchase, then renting out the homes. This rental income pays for their mortgages and maintenance, all the while the home is appreciating in value.
So, and is there a motive behind why they're doing this now, especially because, you know, a few years ago you kind of shied away from rental properties? But it seems to be there must be another motivating factor of why you would buy a home now and sit on it essentially.
The prices are so low you can turn a profit. On the rental, it'll take care of your mortgage and your expenses, and maybe even you might even make $100 a month on it. And in the meantime, your property is appreciating in value. So. And
I'm also thinking too, there's a chance that people are actually thinking about their future. You know, it's not so much that they're planning on, this is just a real quick fix, we're going to buy a property and turn around and flip it after we do some mild improvements and get a profit. I mean, do you think that people are actually starting to say, my retirement needs to be more thought out than what I did before, and this might be a really good opportunity to buy in a location that I want to retire in?
I have couples that I've sold investment properties to. They were a couple in a downtown area. I sold like 3 or 4 investment properties to them, and they're telling me they're cash cows. They're making them so much money. They bought a couple of them on short sales. One of them they bought sight unseen, and they're just making them so much money. But they're really working it too. You know, they're working the vacation rental thing. And that's their retirement.
That's amazing. I mean, that's really good to know, because I know from I have a rental property myself and in a condo down here, and I actually didn't go into it with the intention of being a landlord. I bought it for my mother, who at age 71 decided she was going to go get married and move. And so I was like, oh, great. But we actually love our tenants, and they've been taking care of the property, and it's been a really good experience. But there was always that bit of nervousness that, a couple of years ago, finding a good tenant.
Well, there's a lot of people who are in short sale situations and foreclosure situations where they don't have the greatest credit, yet they have good jobs.
Yeah.
And so these people can't get a mortgage, and so they're out looking for places to rent because they can't get a mortgage to purchase the place. So rental is good right now. It's good. If you have a place to rent, you're going to rent it.
That's good to know. All right, so talk to me about the opposite. What price range is selling the least?
500,000 and over.
Really?
Only 6% of the total sales were in that price category. I'm seeing a renewed interest in that price category now, though, because people are starting to call me about the $1 million and up homes, and they're starting to get serious about it. However, in that price category, I feel like people have higher expectations than for what their money can buy. For example, I've got some people looking in the $1.5 million range, and they really want to spend less than that, but they expect to get a home on big bayfront water with brand new home that they don't have to fix up or anything, and that's just not the case. Our properties are too valuable. Our waterfront properties especially are too valuable here.
So where would you recommend people to start looking if they want a good investment? I mean, what area say they want a home that fits those requirements, but it's not realistic to fit their pocketbook. Is there a mid-level as opposed to the starter homes that are below
well,
2?
The 300 to 400 range is a good price point. Are you talking about to invest and to rent?
Yes, correct.
To rent out, yeah. Anything in the $200,000 to $400,000 price range could probably work for you.
What about new construction? What's happening
New construction, oh my gosh, it's crazy. I remember the first time a couple of years ago I saw some trusses running down 41, and I got so excited because we hadn't seen it in a couple of years. But yeah, west of the trail, it's unbelievable what's going on west of the trail, which is the area I consider west of the trail the area from Mound, west of 41 from Mound down to Field Road. That's kind of a very popular area because it's close to the beaches, close to the bay, close to downtown. You can get to everything Sarasota has to offer, the theater. But you're seeing it in the Southside District. Builders are buying lots and knocking them down, building spec homes. It's just amazing.
Really, spec homes are back as well?
Yes, these are spec homes. I stopped in to see one the other day. Allegra Homes built a spec home right next to the Southside Village there, and they're asking $1 million, $999 for it.
Wow, that's
it's a 3,200 square foot home, but I mean, if you consider the location.
Oh yeah, I wasn't saying wow about the price. I was still on the wow about building spec homes because again, that shows a stronger economy in our area that they're willing to do that.
And if you just drive down Osprey Avenue, you'll see it. It's crazy.
Yeah, and what about further down south? What about in the Northport area? And I know Pat Neal is building a big community down there.
Yeah,
he must have pretty confidence in that area.
Yeah, I saw there are some communities that Pat Neal is building down there, and they're on the lower end of the price spectrum. They're in the 200s, and that's kind of what the average retiree is looking for in the $200,000 price range. So, and Neal builds a great community.
Yeah.
And then Lakewood Ranch is hot. The Lakewood Ranch East is hot, up there.
If you were to get a call from someone from the north, and they said, listen, we're getting close to retirement right now. We know we want to end up in Florida. We know Sarasota has a lot of the amenities that we enjoy up in the north, but yet you have beautiful beaches and far better weather. How do you approach them as far as what their real expectations should be, as opposed to just thinking they're going to get,
Well, the first question I ask them, of course, is what do you like to do? What kind of lifestyle do you envision you having when you do retire? Because, Sarasota has something for everybody. It's got boating, it's got theater, it's got restaurants, and, and then there's the whole University Parkway corridor. You know, that has something for everybody up there too. So I try to find out what the buyer likes to do. And, you know, a lot of times I get people that say, well, we just want to be out in the country, be by ourselves, you know, blah, blah, blah. So then I know where to take them, you know. Other people say, well, we want to walk to this and walk to that and walk to this. Then I know where to take them. You know, it's depending on what they tell me. There's a wide variety of things out there.
Yeah, a lot of choices that can accommodate a lot of people's vision of how they want to spend their time down here. And I'm thrilled with the report that you just said about the rental market as well, because you're right. I mean, if you think about it, if you invest now in real estate at the prices that are on the market now, and you use even if you don't want to do it yourself, a rental agent, and that brings an income, or if nothing, pays for the mortgage for a couple of years, you can then retire using it, and it's, you know, it's not a burden for you financially.
Yeah. And a lot of people who have you know, mortgages on homes that maybe they're upside down because they paid too much for the home, they're renting them out too.
Sure.
You know, because they're kind of waiting it out to see what's going to happen with this market.
Exactly.
And, so you can find rental. You can find people to rent. It's not a problem.
All right. So tell me, how let our listeners know how they can get a hold of you.
You can call me at 941-315-3331, or go to my website. Search for SarasotaProperties.com.
Yeah, you said right before we came on the air that you get an average of, what, 500?
About 400 to 450 leads every single month.
That's great.
People signing up at my website, because my website is just a place where you can search for homes.
Which is a great tool.
It's a great tool.
Yeah, when I was a few years ago looking, I was always 2-3 o'clock in the morning surfing the net, looking at homes and everything. Well, Nicki, thank you so much for coming in today.
Welcome.
And you are going to be a regular guest on our show, and keep us updated on everything that's happening in real estate, and I certainly am enjoying the partnership.
Great. Thanks so much, Susan.
All right, everyone. Well, we're going to take a quick break.